In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that
Hey, you niggas never spoke to me. I don't know who the fuck everybody.
in a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is The Dark Side of Songwriting. Hosted by Nayim Edwards.
It's crazy because when y'all be talking about how sensitive this damn thing is, as far as having issues literally right before the live, like 100% understand that. What's up, Theo? What's up, Haj? So I don't want to, we just kind of jump into the water. Today I want to talk about how the music industry 100% monopolized itself, but not in favor of the artist. So I always tell y'all all the time that the music industry itself is not designed for the artist to make money. It's not designed for the artist to come out as the winner. It's not designed for you to have any type of favorable outcome if you are the artist. In order to even have some type of favorable outcome, the odds will have to be so stacked in your favor, i.e. they want you to have favorable outcome. But when you compare what your favor would be compared to everything that they get out of it, it's not really fair, and it's not really anything that you should be happy or bragging about. So we're going to start with, and we're not going to spend too much time on this part of it, but we're going to start with the CD. So the CD compact disc came into production about 1982 overseas in Japan. And this really was the portable version of the record. If you remember the record, the LP, they used to come in like 12-inch, and they had the smaller 6-inch one. But the problem with the record, because we went from like 8-track or something like that, I don't even know what an 8-track really is, but we went from 8-track to LP to tape, like the little tape thing, and then it went to CD. The problem with the big disc, the LP version of it, is you can only listen to it when you at home. You can only listen to it when you are somewhere that has a record. DJs would have to take actual records and take them into the club in crates. That's what made the DJ such a fantastical part of music, in regards as to like, they're the only people, one, with the money to be able to go and get these records. They probably work at a record store so they can take them, but they're the only people who can afford the equipment. Back then, it was severely expensive to have a record player in your house. So you could only have your music wherever you were at, stationary with the LP. When you go a little bit further, when they start phasing that out, which things come in, and so Mr. Bad Facts, things come in and things come out. Like I said, music change every 10 years. When you get to the tape made it so people were able to take their music, which is crazy because it's like the smaller version of like the 8-track or whatever, but you were able to take your music and take it with you. The most revolutionary thing as far as being able to have your music on the go was the Walkman. What's up, Legends Never Die? The Walkman was so revolutionary. What the hell is on my nose? Because now we can sell even more music. But the key word here is we're selling more music. The problem with what the tape was once the tape, when you had the tape, like the tape at the time was severely, like, it was just science. But in order to go, you had to listen to the whole thing. Or you could, fast forward. If you had a tape player that could fast forward, you fast forward, or you could rewind. And if you got to the end of the tape, you just flip the tape over and you listen to the other side. And back then, your music had to actually be good, because labels, the idea of the independent artist existed, but labels weren't going to be pouring resources into you, because that was really the only way that you would be able to actually have a music career, is because people knew that was the only route. Remember what I said, that because that's going to play a part when we get up to where we are now. But with the tape, you flip it over, you go all the way to the end. But I think it's if it came apart or it came loose and it came messed up, you had to go get another tape or your Walkman. But things were better manufactured then. When we leave the tape era, though, we go into the compact disc. So with the compact disc, what made the compact disc so just the best thing since sliced bread at that time was, with the compact disc, I don't have to wait to hear the next song if I don't want to. I can just hit the next button. They revolutionized the Walkman. So they took the Walkman from being the tape to making it the CD. The same company made it, but they take it to the CD. I can get things done faster. I can get things done quicker. I can get these out faster. They're easier to sell. They're easier to be out. The reason that the music industry actually hated the actual compact disc is because, just like the LP, just like the tape, just like every other form of music before the CD, even though the CD costs less, the CD still costs a whole lot of money to make and produce. Because we got to think about, like, when you used to go back and used to actually buy a physical CD, the CD itself, it came with the small little disc. It came with like a little book. Some people, depending on what your budget was and depending on what kind of artist you was, your book might actually have a poster that folds out. Your book could have the lyrics to all of your songs. Usually if you were signed and you were like a super huge artist, your thing would be like, you could take the back tray out and you would have a poster back there, or you would have a double poster with the book and everything. And you still got to take into account that with the CD, it's not just the physical monetary production of the actual disc, the actual manufacturing of like the plastic in the books. You got to pay photographers. You got to pay the people who type. You got to pay the proofreaders. You got all these people that, what Phil say? I had the Slim Thug already platinum CD that had a post. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of money that went into actually producing physical copies of music. The music industry they were making money, and they actually made more money because the CD you would have to buy the CD. The highest CD I think I ever spent money on, I can't remember who it was, but it was $25 for the one CD. So, and usually the lowest price for a CD, depending on where you went, the clean versions will be like $7.99. The regular versions will be like $9 to $15. But after you factor in manufacturing costs, after you factor in all the costs associated with it, the profit that you were making back, as far as the label side goes, the profit they were making back from it, they might have made out of maybe, like, let's just say the CD was $15. That's a decent price. If the CD was $15, they might actually see a profit of $10. And out of the $10 profit, the artists might make, it's really being generous saying an artist would have made, if we're talking about signed artists, an artist would have made $1 off of a CD. We'll just keep it simple math if we need to do math for this. So like out of $15, $4 for manufacturing to get you out the of the red and try to get you into the black, and $10 profit. Yeah, $5 get you out. $5 manufacturing cost, $10 profit. Out of the $10 profit, you give the artist a 50 cent to $1, and you keep the label, keep the rest, because they got to split it with everybody else. You would think in your mind, like, man, this is a gold mine. This is the problem that record labels had with the CD itself. When we remember, like, and it's the same thing, and it's not just the CD, it's the DVD, it's the Blu-ray, even though Blu-ray didn't take off how it was supposed to. If you had a personal computer, you were able to take music and manufacture it yourself. You were able to buy one CD because all laptops, all desktops, all of these things came with CD burners. So computers nowadays, a lot of times, which is crazy to me, is depending on what kind of laptop you buy, it might not even have a CD port on it at all. Like the laptop I have right in front of me, it doesn't have no way of burning no type of CDs. I don't even think I can plug a CD burner into this thing. That's how far down the road we've got. And this all matters because when you had the economy of, this is why it was becoming troubling. This is why they wanted to introduce things like iTunes. And if you remember, LimeWire and Napster was like the bane of the music industry's existence, because when you have, like, they're spending all this money on these mainstream artists. And this is what we're getting into. We're falling into a mixtape era. They're spending all this money on these mainstream artists, and people are going to their house. One person is sacrificing their money, spending their money to actually buy the music, and then they're uploading it. If you remember how Soulja Boy got on, or if you don't know, Soulja Boy used to he would make his own songs and he would put them on LimeWire as 50 Cent Candy Shop. So people would download and everything. And remember, you used to have to go through all them songs. Yes, your computer got a virus and it ate your computer and your RAM up and all of that stuff. But people used to be able to share music for free. The whole gripe with Napster was people was paying him to be able to get unlimited music, which really set the trend for where we are today as far as the digital side of it. But I don't want to go too far ahead of myself, because we got to talk about the destruction of the CD, why they were happy about it, but how many careers was birthed out of that mixtape era and why they had to destroy it. So what's up, Mariah? With the CD itself, I wish I had the clip. I should have downloaded it, but I just woke up from my nap not too long ago. Leor Cohen said all labels hated the CD when it came to the transformation era, when they introduced actually buying a digital download. They hated the CD because of obviously what we went over about the manufacturing costs. They hated having to spend all of that money but not make as much money back. This is where contracts come into the play, because they started to slowly phase the CD out to bring in the digital. But there was a small window of time, and it seems small compared to what's happening right now, but a lot of us blatantly remember that window where you actually, even though digital music still existed, you still had to go to the store. Well, you had the option of buying it digitally or going to the store and buying it physically. And this was any store. A lot of what was with the mixtapes was, I know when I was in middle school, I used to make mix CDs and I would sell them. Now they would call that like a DJ. I was not a DJ, but I was a little bit privier to like iTunes and stuff before people really jumped on iTunes like that. So because I wanted the original song and I wanted the official song, I could get on my computer and go on iTunes. I could buy that song and then I could burn that song to as many CDs as I want because I own the song forever. And we're talking about, this is the consumer market. I was in middle school. This is the consumer market as far as music goes. So I can buy this song one time. Me as the purchaser, they think that, oh, they're going to all go out and buy the CD. And this is the era between the CD and the digital. People were still buying CDs. Nobody was not buying CDs, you know? But there was an option for younger people who, you know, the MP3 player, the iPod, all of those things start coming out. And maybe you're not so interested in actually buying the whole album. You just want the song, but it didn't give you there was a small part where you actually had to you could buy the song, but you can get a small snippet of the other songs, but you still had to buy the whole song. It's not until recently in time where you can listen to a person's whole project and decide that you don't want to buy it. The problem with the CD and the digital, aside from existing at the same time, coexisting, the problem with that was when you had regular people like us buying one song, downloading it illegally, they can't track it, they can't stop it, they're losing so much money. They thought that pouring more resources into their major artists and trying to shut independent artists out was going to make a difference. Even though it was a little bit before when Outkast came out and was like, the South got something to say, still the same era where they could only go to California or they could only go to New York to actually get a deal. And you actually had to be a certain type of artist or a certain type of somebody to actually be able to get a record deal. So out of monopolizing the music industry as only certain people can get signed for certain things and certain type of acts, birthed the mixtape era. And what the mixtape era was, anybody who wanted to do music could do music. And when it came to major artists, put this up here. When it came to major artists and mixtapes, in their contracts, it would always say you owe XYZ amount of albums to this label. In this time, not this time, but in the time of all of that, they were not counting mixtapes as albums, because the whole thing with why Lil Wayne's and Jeezy's and Gucci Mane's music, even though not Wayne necessarily, but Gucci and Jeezy and Yo Gotti and Slim Thugs and everybody in Texas, Chameleonaires, why all of these people became legendary, even Nicki Minaj became legendary mixtape people, is because they were making original music on original beats. They weren't doing, even though Wayne used to throw like 3 or 4 bonuses at the end, brand new songs that the label didn't want because the label took for granted, they was making original music. It was their own producers that they found. Even G-Unit and Dipset, all of these people from all of these places were making brand new music that the label said, we don't want it, because make no mistake, they said that they did not want it at first. They did not want no part of whatever this extracurricular music was that was coming from all of these artists that we know to be legends today. And they didn't want it because they didn't know how to market it, and they did not take it serious at first. When people were signed to a label, remember, like we always say, like, we know that Wayne was gonna give the label all of the commercial music, but they gonna put the real shit on the mixtape. And a lot of the people, and this is still the era where you still had to go outside. You couldn't in order to even be a successful mixtape artist, you had to go outside. You had to go meet people, because this, instead of waiting for the magazine to come out, instead of waiting for the video to drop and all of this extra stuff, Mr. Bedfast, Atlanta made Nicki Minaj. Absolutely. Known in my opinion through, yes, that's 100% true. She didn't get on until Dave Anthony brought her down to Gucci Mane, and he was he had her all over everything, was doing everything. So absolutely, she had to come to the South, and that's another reason we're gonna get into in a second. But where was I at? They was gonna deliver the album, the commercial stuff that the album knew how to do commercially, but I don't have to wait until the album come out to give my fans what they want. I want to stay in their face. I want to get them that. Wayne was known for, if you had a song come out or a song came out, you knew Wayne liked your song. If he hopped on your beat, he would just hop on your beat, and his version of your song would be so fire. People would forget that nobody knows who, like, let's be for real. Like, do anybody know who sung the song Swag Surfing? You don't know their names. Like, you know That's one of Wayne's hottest mixtape songs. Another problem that the label did not foresee, because again, in their contracts, they're like, you can do whatever you want to with all that extra stuff. Just make sure you give us the stuff that's going to sell commercially. They took 100% took for granted all those hits that people like Yo Gotti got, that people like Gucci got, that people like Jeezy got, that Nicki Minaj got hits, Dipset and G-Unit, and all of these people have hits outside of being signed, that in the contract it said you can do whatever you want with that. So that created an economy on its own. Slim Thug and Chamillionaire and Mike Jones and Paul Wall and all these people were able to create an economy that existed outside of the label's parameters. The label allowed people to run rapid. You had mixtape, and this is another thing, the blogs were relevant back then. And this is back when getting your mixtape on that Piff, Meek Mill is another one. Meek Mill, I grew up on Meek Mill mixtapes. Meek Mill, people like Meek Mill were able to get their foot in the door by coming in with notable DJs, DJ Drama, DJ Holiday, DJ Clue, DJ Quick. That name of DJ, the DJ was the medium to the independent artists being able to do so much work that they go and they get signed. Meek Mill got discovered through his mixtapes by Rick Ross, seeing how much work he was putting in. That was another way to actually measure how much work a person was doing and how serious you was about your music career. How hard is you going on this mixtape circuit? But relating that to the blog, you knew you was popping if you had enough money to pay. That Piff was free to upload, but you would have to do your own promotion. But when it came to getting on the front page of that Piff, Currency is another person. Wiz Khalifa's another person. I mean, bro, name a person who didn't come up through the mixtapes. When you had your mixtape on the front of that Piff, when you had your mixtape on the front, exactly. When you had your mixtape on the front of Live Mixtapes, My Mixtapes, all the mixtape sites, you knew that these are the people that's actually putting money into their music career. They're not bullshitting. They're not pussyfooting around. They're actually coming in and paying these DJs. So it was the artist had to go through the DJ or the DJ's team or whatever, and then the DJ would send it out to Live Mixtapes, send it out to all of these other people. When it hit that, everybody used to wait for the mixtapes to drop. And this was, even though you might not have been getting actual money every time the mixtape, was uploaded or listened to, people actually cared when your mixtape dropped. People actually cared when, oh my God, I love Wiz Khalifa and he's about to drop Taylor Alderance or whatever the name of that junk was. That junk was hard too. He's about to drop his mixtape on that Piff tonight, and you knew every Friday, every whatever day, some people will be like, every Tuesday of the month, I'm putting my mixtape up on that Piff. I'm putting my mixtape up on Live Mixtapes. It didn't matter which one, because they usually got sent out to all of them because you had to have that network. So the DJ is getting paid from the artist is paying the DJ because the DJ got the name, because the DJ Drama, DJ Holiday, DJ whatever the hell you want to. That's another economy that was birthed, was the DJ, because the DJ is not just putting the mixtape out. The DJ is in the club. The DJ is actually, when DJs actually had to walk the street and be around people and talk to people and network for you, take your record to the club. Everybody mixtape always had at least one or two records that they can spin for regular people when they go to the club, when they go to this place, when they go to that place. The website is getting paid because you purchase $500, $600 to be put up there. You are getting paid because you're getting your name out there. You're able to go tour. You're able to do shows. You're able to sell clothes. You're able to do everything that the major artist is doing, aside from have access to those ports that the label monopolized. So the mixtape era was a whole economy of itself. And that's how you really had to get on back in the day, just because you couldn't just go and get signed. You couldn't just go and do whatever. And we still in that era of, I can go to the store and physically buy your album through the label, but I can go to the corner store and I can buy a mixtape with all the hottest songs in the street right now. The label did not care about DJ White Owl was hard. You didn't, and that was another way to build their names up, and a lot of them switched to being executives or producers or something like that if they was hot enough, or whatever they do, or A&Rs or whatever. But the label 100% overlooked all of that music because they figured, like, they're not selling the CD, they're not selling the MP3, they're giving it away for free. How bad can it be? But remember, one of Nicki Minaj's famous lines is, "Which bitch you know made $1 million off a mixtape?" There were so many other ways that created this economy. When the label, now this is what we get to why the CD had to die and it had to go all digital. Jeezy and Gucci and Gotti and everybody, those are just the default names that we use. It's really everybody. Even the people from Houston, the people on the West Coast, I know they did it, but they really weren't big with the name because the South did not have no choice but to create their own economy because they couldn't go get no deals. The same thing with 50 Cent and all of his mixtapes and stuff, because nobody would get him a deal, because nobody would invest, no company or corporation would invest money into him, he didn't have a choice but to create his own economy. So when the label started wisening up and saying, hold on, these people are going to these shows. Now remember, the 360 deal, the only people who got 360 deals at that time was people like Lady Gaga, pop acts. It was only pop acts in them 360 situations. If you was not in a 360, and 360 used to be a good thing because Lady Gaga was biggest star on the planet. You had to, a person like that could be put everywhere, but a mixtape artist, not so much. So when a lot of producers came up through the mixtape artists too, because that's how they was getting their names out. Zaytoven, Mike Will, Metro, a lot of people was birthed out of mixtapes. Stub, a lot of these, Quan, a lot of people, even in the modern era, as far as who's hot right now, because now they're cheating. We'll get to that in a second. But when the label sees, like, wait a minute, these people got hits, they're performing at the show that's not on the album. Nobody's going to buy the album because that song is not on the album. Wait a minute. No. We got to do something about that. So if you notice, there was a small period of time where if a song was just blazing hot on the mixtape, they would take it from the mixtape and they would put it on the album in an attempt to sell more albums. And it might have been just that one song. The one song I think about that did that was that song Single by Lil Wayne. That was a mixtape song first. It wasn't on his album in the beginning. He took that and they had to take that and put that on the album because it became so big. And we all know so many songs that are legendary songs by these people, hits by these people that were never on any album. That's what we get into nowadays where they're getting things licensed. And Drake was another person who came up through mixtapes. Like, they're putting these songs on iTunes or Spotify and stuff now. So, excuse me. First it started with the label taking the one song and putting it up there. Now we get to this space where it's just like, these people are actually getting rich and they don't need us. And when I say getting rich, these people were making money hand over fist, and they did not need the label for anything other than exclusive resources that regular people did not have access to. So what do you do as the record label with an uncontrolled economy, because this is all about money. Don't let nobody tell you no lie that, oh, the technology was just whatever. Technology, as long as time prevails, technology is going to be something that never stops evolving. It's going to continue to evolve until the day we die. However, technology had to advance itself faster than what the label could take advantage of a person for. So not only did they hate the cost of the CD, let's just make it all digital. Now you can still buy CDs, but when you got that, they're so far few in between. You buy a CD, that's a relic type of situation. And when in the music industry controls other industries as well, it's not just, oh, no more CDs, because if you really pay attention to it, when the CD started to get phased out, you can barely buy a new car now that has a CD player in it. You can barely buy anything that has a CD player attached to it. You have to actively go seek that out. The same thing with the DVD. In the era of streaming, you can't find a DVD player. You have to go buy that separate from, it used to come with the tape and the DVD. The tape is gone the same time that the tape, the actual VHS is gone the same time that the audio tape went out. The DVD is still there because it's not going to be gone as fast because people still want copies of movies and stuff to hold and handle. But we're talking about music, but it's all the same stuff. They were happy to go 100% digital. And just like self-checkout, we can't just throw you into the water like that and expect you to swim. We have to actually ease you into it so you know. So yeah, we're going to have that small transitional period, and then we're going to gradually just move it till we make it where CD is not cool. And when they made it so that the mixtape and the CD, because the mixtape is affiliated with the physical CD, because remember, everywhere, no matter where you live, no matter what neighborhood you from, no matter what state you from, no matter what your race was, there was always the CD man or the bootleg man or whatever you called it where you was from. There was always one person. Anywhere you go, a shopping center, the corner where the Popeyes at, they had all the movies. They used to go into the movie theater and film all the movies. Motherfuckers used to be known for how good they could film movies that they went to the movies to steal and sell them on DVD. That's how people would be like, oh, I saw the movie before it came out. That's what I'm saying. CDs out the trunk. People used to be known. Okay, there we go. The people used to be known for the quality of their bootlegs. So they killed, when we eliminate those people and we eliminate the CD and the DVD and we make it uncool, even though that was the fastest way and the best way to get it out, because even though, yes, we're giving it away for free, it's not really free. It's just a part of the market, and we're giving it away like this. People are still coming out to buy our merchandise. They're coming out to our shows. They buy whatever. If we get sponsored, they're buying whatever we put our name on. Sales was still high, even at the end of the CD era with 50 Cent and Kanye West. Sales were still skyrocketing high. They took and disassociated the CD with the coolness so they could drain the economy. It was always about taking the power back. So they will tell you, okay, I know you don't want to carry around a fucking Walkman all the time. I know you don't want to carry around this CD player everywhere you go. Like, come on, guys. Take this iPod. I'll do you one better. I wish I had it. I got one. I'll do you one better. I'll give you a cell phone where you can just make all your calls, listen to all your music. You can even watch videos when the music videos drop, all in one place. And it's like, because of convenience, it tricked everybody into thinking that it was a better time. Because remember, music is a social thing most of the time. It's personal, but it's also a social animal in itself. Different type of music affects different type of people, and we'll be talking about that sometime this week. But when they had to actually go outside and meet their fans and see their fans and know who their fans was, it created that personal connection. When they, you know, did interviews and stuff, you knew they was just doing that for the label because the label wanted them to do that. You go on 106 in Park, you go on all these things, you do TRL, you do all these little things, you go sit down with the Source, yada, yada, yada. Migos came up through mixtapes too. But for real. But it's like they started to phase it out like they did bringing in the self-checkout because that was the only way they were going to be able to take the money back. So now what happens when the CD just dies? Because we talked about the CD enough. We're moving into digital. When the CD itself actually completely phases out where 100% of the purchases can be made online, but I can't just give you 100% of the purchases because you still got to feel like you got something. So I'm going to pair purchase power with being able to listen to the music anytime you want to. Things started out pretty rough with Spotify, and they started out really rough with Napster and Deezer and all these, you know, I don't want to call them relic, but like they're the grandfathers of everything that we have today. I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree, Brandon. Like for real, like it's when the CD died, it pulled the rug up from under everybody because it took the power away from the people in the street, and it gave the people in the industry the power to control it. Because even when you had the albums, again, like we said earlier, I can get a label whatever I want to give them. I can give them what their standards are, what they want to hear. Because again, they did not believe in these songs. They didn't think these songs people were going to like them. They didn't think they were commercial enough. They didn't think they were friendly enough to be played on radio. Most of these songs were never played on the radio. That's classics and hits. But when you move into CDs being phased out, they want to take control because they realize, like, wait, these people can drop this kind of music and it works. These people can put this kind of music out and it works. I have to cut the rug up because they're losing money. They weren't making as much money. The music industry right now is making the most money that the music industry has ever made. And back then, it was mostly controlled by signed artists and record labels and stuff. Now it's 50. It's like half and half. So it's half independent artists and independent entities, and the other half is all the big people, Universal and all of that stuff. But when Spotify and all these other things came out, it told you in your mind, instead of, you used to have to, because I was a child when all of this stuff was coming to like prominence. The CD itself, you don't have to pay $15 for this CD. What's up, Seven? You don't have to pay $15 for this CD. You can pay me $15 one time, and it wasn't that expensive back then. But why would you pay me? They told us, why would you pay them $15, even though record labels own the streaming services, got them all in the chokehold. They are not private entities. They basically own everything to be able to license the music to these people. They told us, you are going to pay me $10, $15 a month and listen to any song you want to, unlimited, unfettered, instead of buying one CD or 3 CDs, or you spend $100 a month on CDs. That was if your family had some type of money, or y'all was really into music, or you taking your money to the nigga selling CDs on the corner for $5 for the CD. Hold on, what the hell? Instead of you paying $5 for the CD on the CD man, or $2 for a burn CD, $10 a month. Fucking should have cut the hair on. $10 a month, unlimited music. In your mind, all you're thinking about is your wallet. In your mind, all you're thinking about is like, wait a minute. I can cut my money in half. I can cut the money that I'm throwing out in half, and I can also come back and listen to shit over and over again. The problem with that model is you don't actually own it. You're only licensing it. So you end up actually spending more money. You actually end up spending more money now than you probably would when music was something you had to actually pick your favorite artist. Because a lot of the times, especially a lot of us, I believe a lot of us, when all this stuff was happening, we were children. And I say children, anybody under the age of 18. So when a lot of this stuff got introduced to us, we wasn't the people that was going out and spending the money. So your family or the people around you might have really been like, you mean to tell me that I can put $10 up and you can just listen to whatever you want to? Remember, like, again, LimeWire and all this stuff was there. LimeWire didn't die until like 10, 15 years ago. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying this, Brandon. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, my daddy used to have us burning CDs. And he would have one for the car, one for my grandma's house, and then one for our house for the living room where the sound system was at. That junk used to be crazy. But it's like that was the first phase of taking the money back and taking the power back. I'm going to undercut everything by getting into the consumer's head and telling them, I'm going to save you money by giving you everything. Unlimited everything. No holds bar. It's no catch. $10 a month. Anything you want to listen to, anything you want to be a part of. The problem with that, again, is like you don't own it. So in order to continue to listen to what you want to listen to and be a part of what you want to listen to, you have to actually spend this money. If you don't spend this money, you don't get to hear the music. The thing, how Mixtape play into that, remember we said that the label didn't care about the mixtape because a lot of people was rapping over other people's beats, or they had original music that the label was not going to approve, because that's a big thing with labels. Labels today don't even make sense to sign to nobody because they're so draconian with the way they do music. They don't let their artists put out music how they want to because they feel like, oh, it's just going to run up. Like, it's so ass backwards what they're thinking. They really feel like because you put out so much music, people is going to get XYZ, but you got to know what kind of artist you is. There's some artists that can continue to put out music and people love it and they fans, i.e. Drake, or there's certain types of artists where you don't need to be dropping all of that. You can drop once a year, you can drop 2 times a year, you can drop a few times a year, and people would be okay with that. But that's all a part of knowing. Record labels are severely lazy, especially when it comes to that. So they just wanted to wipe the table clean and bring the money all back to them. And like Two Frames is saying, $10.99 a month for over a decade. Subscription model flourished under Spotify. So if I can get you, and it's not just that one thing, where now they're breaking things up and making people pay. Like this is just the one example for the music. They did it with the VHS and the DVD. They did it with cable. People, what's up, Smitty? They did it with cable. They did it with anything that you would normally go to your grandmother's house and it would be there. Like your grandma would have kung fu movies and a section for kids and all these other things. Now you got to have BET Plus and Netflix, and certain places only HBO, certain places only play certain things. So it's the same thing how it was in the street. And I say in the street, like regular people, it's the same thing how it was, but now the label has this figured out how to actually get the money from it, because they're so draconian and they're so behind with how these things are supposed to go. They're usually, like, even in today, they're the last one to know things. They're the last one to know what's going on, just because they don't know how to pick artists. They don't know what's hot. They don't know what people want. They don't even know how to place people. So they rely on cheating mechanisms like TikTok and shorts and all these other things to be discovered. They rely on these things so they don't have to do any work, because they're like, oh, people must like it because they're looking at it. And that is not the same thing as people liking it. Just because people are looking, that doesn't mean they like it. Just because people are listening, that doesn't mean they like it. And that brings in, from the mixtape era, cutting out the DJ and replacing the DJ with the program director. Remember, the DJ didn't necessarily decide what's hot, but the DJ had the ear for what people were gravitating towards, and they pushed that. The program director doesn't decide what's hot, and they don't know. They don't have the ear either. They do what they're told to do. That was the difference between an Ebro and a DJ Drama. Meek Mill was hot because Meek Mill was hot. Everything that Meek Mill put out, if it was something that could be played at a club, remember when House Party came out? I was in college when that song dropped. When House Party came out, that was the hot. So the mixtape itself will come out. Oh shit, Meek Mill got a House Party. We taking that. And when they had the mixtapes, like DJ Clue, I remember DJ Clue's mixtapes and DJ Envy, but mostly it was DJ Clue. When they did, like, so DJ Clue and DJ Envy and all these people, they would have certain artists that they would have. And when these artists put the songs out, they would go and then make another tape, and they would take their tape, and whoever had the hottest song, you can either buy the slot, but the hottest songs usually got the first 5 slots. That's how you knew if you was really blazing hot in the street. So when House Party and stuff came out, that was just for like that Philly area and that up north area, because every region had their own mixtape syndicate, but everybody got along. And that's how you know this is how you knew who was really hot. First 7 songs on the mixtape. Mixtapes used to be 30 songs, all different types of niggas, all different types of sounds, all different types of things that was going on. But them first 5 hottest songs in the street, or if you was trying to make yourself a hot artist, you could pay to get yourself in that top 10. Now, it won't cheap, but that's how you knew if you had somebody who was serious and they wanted to come up, because you used to could pay DJ Clue to be at the top of the DJ Clue tape. For DJ Drama and Holiday and stuff, they stuck more to individually crafting and putting artists out. Bro, Gangsta Grills, I grew up. That's what I'm talking about. This is the era that most of us, I feel like we grew up in that era. That is the music that we know. And that's the music model we were introduced to. So we don't really understand, like, bro, what are niggas doing sitting on their hands, not doing no music? Go put some music out, do something. But when mixtape era got undercutted by streaming, undercutted by digital, undercutted by that, it wiped all of those people off the table. It took all of those people out. It got rid of all of them. So the power got shifted back to the label. After the power gets shifted back to the label, that's when they start doing their sneaky tactics of, okay, now that we have the power, we're going to tell you what's hot instead of letting you decide, because we got to get our money back for all the money that we missed with people putting all this stuff out. That's why they call it leaks now. Remember, stuff didn't used to leak. Music didn't used to get leaked. And if it did get leaked, it was the day of, and it might have came out in Switzerland or something before it came out in the United States. Like, now with leaks, because so many people have their hands in so many places and on so many things, they're being pretty much held hostage with their music. They're being told that you can't do this, you can't do that, because this isn't the agenda we want to push. You can't do this and you can't do that because this isn't the type of image we want to put out there for you. Not knowing that even somebody like Lil Uzi Vert, the only reason he even has EXO Tour Life is because he put it on SoundCloud and it blew up from there. There was another era. That's the same thing. That was kind of falling off of the mixtape era for real. When the label did not want to release, and he signed to Generation Now, and that's DJ Drama and the other dude. They didn't want to put it out, and he put the song out and it blew up, and they did not have no choice but to make it hot, because they did not know. They don't give these entities the credit like they've actually done something or they know something. They don't know a goddamn thing. They don't know shit. Like they don't know a damn thing. What we got? What y'all talking about? They took DJ Drama away, but this is what I'm saying. And DJ Khaled was instrumental back in the day in a lot of. He was. You know what he is. He's a person who puts records together. He has a knack for sound. He has a knack for putting things together. But he still came up in those eras where you actually had to actually go, because he came up as an actual DJ. So, no, for real. But he actually had to come up doing it the legitimate way. So I cut him a little bit of slack on that. But that does not count for, you had to already be hot by the time you got DJ Khaled. DJ Drama can single-handedly at that time make you a household name and make you hot where people know they didn't go out and you couldn't go out and purchase it. But when I know the song because I was on live mixtapes. I know the song because everybody's talking about it. Everybody's tweeting about it. Everybody's on whatever social media, on Facebook, hollering about it. Everybody knew about it because I'm anticipating DJ Drama. That's why the DJ was important. Now when you see a DJ, do people like, not that you need to carry around no crate and no stuff like that, but they're gonna play. You're gonna go into a party or a club or somewhere. They're gonna cut on a playlist, and that's gonna be that. They're not going to try to loop in nothing. You might go to the strip club and some local artist song is playing, but you in the strip club looking at ass. You're not really giving a fuck about the song that's playing. Another way today, 100% brainwashed and 100% came through and knocked all of that off of the table. They had to take it back. So now in this digital era, because okay, mixtape era is over. It's not gonna be like, I'm gonna be for real with you. Like, it's only certain people, and it only can work with a certain amount of people that mixtape shit. It's only gonna be a few people that'll be able to slip through and still do that. But you're gonna have to do so much of your own thing. And nowadays in this era, you can't just be known and hot for music. And if you are, it's gonna take you so long to actually get to the point where it's only music and you're only known for just music. You're going to be easily forgotten by somebody who, even something as simple as has a personality, even something as simple as just like we get up here and we chop it up on Mondays and we just sit and we talk about music. You're going to be overshadowed by that. And then you're going to be upset because you put your heart and your soul into this, trying to go by a standard that doesn't exist anymore. It just does not exist. And anybody that's telling you to just do this, as far as only keeping it strictly looking at music, they're setting you back. Theo asks, how do you know the difference between albums and mixtapes now? It's funny because that is a contractual thing if we're talking about mainstream music. Dedication was 5. Looking at a 2 frames comment. The only difference nowadays between mixtapes and albums is 100% contractual if we're talking about mainstream artists. Even as an independent artist, in these people's contracts, it'll say you can discounts, like it's like a negotiation type thing with these people a lot of times, because they'll say, okay, Meg Thee Stallion, this counts as an album. And a lot of it has to do with how much something will sell. They usually get the projections and then come out and say, oh, this is just a mixtape, y'all. So it's not going to count again. It's not going to count for my album obligation, however many that is. It's usually one album every 9 months for like 7 years or some shit like that. That's what a lot of people sign for. But that's what exactly. It's a mixtape when it flops. It's an album when it's good. That's exactly. But I mean, for real, that's just what it is. People they'll say, "Oh, you get this amount of release, this amount of number of releases, but only 5." Let's just say they say you get 9 releases, but only 5 of them will count towards your contract. You get 3 releases a year, but only 1 release per year will count towards your contract, or XYZ amount of sales. Like as a conglomerate, they don't. In real life, it's no difference between the mixtape, and there's no difference between an album. Because as an independent person, if you was to Google your name, they would have anything that you put up on digital as the album. Now, people play semantics and say, this is going to be my mixtape series, which I don't have a problem with that. I'm be for real. This is going to be my mixtape series. These are going to be my albums. Like, so they'll, in their mind, they'll tell you, I will have this set of music. This is going to be the serious music, and this is going to be the freestyles, and all the freestyles is going to be mixtapes. But Brandon is absolutely right. That's the only difference. I think Atlanta took ownership of YB's 38 Baby. So does the artist own anything? That personally depends on what is in your contract for your publishing. I got a video that's probably going to drop tomorrow. I'm still editing it about the terms in the contract. But if they own the sound recording, which is the master, then he don't own nothing. So he's not entitled to any of the money. Maybe some of the publishing from the songwriting if he wrote any of it, but they could own a lot of that too. So if the label owns your sound recordings, you're not entitled to, and you don't own it. It's not yours. So whoever owns the publishing owns the music, and that's just basically the master. So if they have control over that, they don't. He don't have no say in that. He don't own it. He probably don't make no money in it. If y'all want to, y'all can call in. If not, we can wrap up. But, or any other questions, you can just put them in the chat. But yeah, anybody who don't own the actual master, they don't, the masters, the pub, they don't own the song, they don't have no control over it. And that includes the album. And depending on whatever the terms would be, he might get, like Diddy just did, the things will turn over in a year, or not a year, 30-something years, you can get it back, or in perpetuity means forever, so you'll never get it back. It just depends on what he decided he wanted to sign over for. We're going to give it about a few more minutes, and then we're going to be out of here, because that is it. So yeah, the mixtape era absolutely had to die. And it had to die because they needed to take over financially. So even something as simple, I'm thinking about, if you have a Spotify account or even Apple Music, certain little things, like little jittery little things, like, do you remember when only major label artists used to could have the little animation behind their song? That's another gatekeeping method. Dolby's Atmos, another gatekeeping method. Whenever something new comes out, it's just another way to gatekeep. It's just another way to try to make themselves seem special, because the floodgate is open, and the floodgate is open because they don't know what they're doing. The floodgate is open because they don't understand the evolution of where music and music business is going. I'm talking about labels don't get it. Regular people like us can see it, and we know, and it don't make no sense. But to them people, it's just all about getting the money. They don't give a fuck if you live. They don't care if you die. They don't care nothing about you. They don't care anything about what's going on. It's about getting that quick flip right now, because they want their money now. They don't give a damn about longevity, when it used to be like, we need artists to last for a lifetime so we can all get paid forever, you know. Yeah, they just, it's crazy, because every time something new comes out, if everybody doesn't have access to it, you know, they're just testing it to see, like, okay, you only have access to this. This is why people think radio is only important in certain ways, but this is why the playlist is so, you know, the playlist is such a zinger, because only major label artists have access to these big playlists. I've said this before, if y'all didn't catch it or y'all didn't know, if an artist is signed, they will appear on like Rap Caviar and all these super big playlists. Those are only reserved. You're not going to be up there as no independent unless you got $250,000 to pay them people to be up there. That's how you know if people are signing stuff. And that stuff is reserved for them, because they don't have no way to distinguish. Theo could come out with an album tomorrow and be getting just as much of attention as a major label artist, and that person, that major label artist, will be mad at Theo or mad at somebody else because, bro, the playing field is equal. Niggas don't sign record labels to be equal to regular people. They sign record labels to distinguish themselves as somebody that's special. But the problem is, when they wiped out the mixtape era where you had to prove yourself and prove your talent, it also completely broke the levee where now everything, we all floating in the same water. So may the best of us win. So it says, so is every project considered an album under contract for the artist? No. It's just like the mixtape question. So depending on what kind of contract you sign would determine what is counted as what. Because usually the standard recording contract is one album every 9 months, so one album a year for 5 to 7 years. And then, so that doesn't sound bad, but it's also terrible. One project per year, because you're supposed to be building up steam and building up momentum. But the thing is, that is just standard for the loan that they give you for recouping. They can write in, you can release this many EPs, you can release XYZ, you can write in, look, I want to be able to drop music what I want, and then they come back with their negotiation and say, you can drop this, but you can only call it a mixtape and it doesn't count. You'll still get, you'll still, because everything we do, you have to pay for everything out your pocket. So it's just going back and forth to see where can we meet in the middle as far as where you want to drop. That's why most artists don't, these major label artists, they don't drop, or they get, I see Two Frames talking about they shelf projects all the time. That's another thing. A lot of people sign, and that's why I wouldn't recommend anybody to sign no record label right now. It's not beneficial for you if you don't even know how to put yourself out there, because I know for a fact, and it happens with songwriters a lot. A lot of people get signed, and they get signed. One, they get their style stolen. Everything about them gets stolen and given to somebody else. When you sign, a lot of times you don't have no choice about what happens with your music, because most people don't read. That's why we stress the importance of reading over here, because reading will avoid about 80% of the issues you can run into, and having somebody to be able to interpret what you're reading, it matters as well. You get yourself into a situation where, okay, you have to turn your song in. Oh, this is a good song. We have an artist that is guaranteed to be able to make some money. We're going to take your song off your project and give it to somebody else. This happened with K Michelle. K Michelle's Anybody Want to Buy a Heart, they took that song from her and gave it to Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill, because they felt like it would be better fit for them instead of her. These things happen a lot. A lot of these people don't talk about these things because contractually you're not able to talk, gag orders, all these other things, being embarrassed. It just happened. I'm going to do a video on that with Saweetie, and they took that Barbie World song from Saweetie and gave it to Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice because they felt like it would be a better fit for them. The writer already came out and said that it didn't matter who it went to, he already got paid. So it's like, these are the things that happen all of the time. To go back to is about shelving the project and stuff, like, you'll be lucky if you get shelved. And then it's so fucked up. This is the danger of signing anything, because if you get shelved, you're not allowed to put your music out. So you could be making all the music you want to in your house, and you could drop music whenever you want to. You can do whatever you want to, but nobody's going to ever hear the music, because it's not like you sit at your home and you drop it on DistroKid or wherever you put your music up, or TuneCore, where pick one, it don't matter. They all do the same thing. Them people get signed and you think, oh man, I'm signed, I'm this, I'm that, but you're not allowed to put nothing because you're a tax write-off essentially. And Two Frames is so crazy because a lot of people are not credited or compensated accordingly to the amount of stuff that they have to go through because of the kind of contracts that they sign. And you're right about the fine print in these contracts. It's like a lot of it is so crazy because a lawyer told me one time, the longer the contract, the more BS is in there. You should be able to say what the terms are and say what it is without all of this legal jargon and legal all these other things. It's one thing to spell things out, but to just draw it out and draw it out and draw it out and draw it out and draw it out, to purposely have people in these legal binds and purposely have people in these terrible loops, that's how they get people in the trick bag. And a lot of people, especially when you first sign it, it's so unfortunate because you used to have to, back in the mixtape era, used to have a relationship that was so good with people. They, for real, word vomit. Like, you used to have relationships that was so good. We all in this together. So if you win, I win. I'm not going to let them screw you how they would screw other people. That's why they get like, yeah, you can have the album money. You can have all the money from XYZ. But when it comes down to my tour money, my merch money, and all this, you can't touch it. And that's how things used to be structured. Now, they want a piece or damn near everything of everything. It's not, when we talk about people signing 360s, people ain't just signing 360s for merchandise and tickets. They're signing 360 for every piece of every dollar that they come into. So a lot of these people, behind the scene, it looks great, and people associate visibility with wealth, and that's not it. Like, not in this business. That's not it. You can look like anything and still be broke. So, yeah, absolutely. Like, you can't even come. A lot of the times, that's why I say is if you sign it, you're signing the 360 nowadays. You're not, even when you sign up to be on some of these upper echelon streaming service type of situations, them people will take a percentage of your streaming, even as an independent artist. So it's just a matter of making sure you actually, I know it's boring. People, it's so crazy because we need to make reading cool again. I know it's boring. I know it's lame. It's whatever it is. But sitting down and reading something for an hour with your Google, if you can't afford a lawyer, and making sure you understand what is put in front of you, that matters. Making sure that, and if you have a few extra dollars, actually being able to interpret something or have somebody to interpret something for you for it to make sense for your situation, because you might actually be okay with somebody taking, I don't know what the percentage is for United Masters, but they have different tiers where they take percentages of your, whatever your streaming money come in as an independent, not as a person who signed to a label, not as a person who's doing whatever, but let's just say they take 5, 10, 15, 20% as an independent artist. You might not be okay with United Masters taking 20% of your streaming because they're promising you some BS opportunity that nobody can ever tell you how to get to it or how to be a part of it. They're just talking shit. So this is the, whatever you're getting into, just make sure you're reading and understanding. And if you don't understand, find somebody to help you understand it. Absolutely. That's how most people was torn back. Nobody was, bro, if you did the label songs that you put on the album, that was to appeal to everybody. Core fan bases was listening to mixtapes. That's how you got your core base, was putting that music out and feeding your base what your base wanted. But yeah, it's been about an hour. If y'all got any more questions, just drop them, or any more comments, just drop them. I'm gonna give it about 2 more minutes, and we're gonna get out of here. But yeah, all the roads lead back to the money. All the roads lead back to trying to make themselves appear to be worth more and cut out as many people as they can so they can get the money. Ain't no label interested. That's why people will often talk about, are you worth more dead or alive? You're definitely worth more dead because you haven't fulfilled your contract. And if you haven't fulfilled your contract, I get to collect 100% of your money till I get my money back. And because you are in the music business, your family more than likely don't know anything about the music business. So XXXTentacion, very good example. They gave him $6 million or something like that. He got like $6 million. You died before you could fulfill your contract. Even though he didn't have a lot of music. I would say Juice WRLD would probably be a better example. But you died before you were able to fulfill your contract. I'm going to get to that in a second. You died before you were able to fulfill your contract. So I'm going to give your family a lump sum of $100,000. Because nobody really knows how much all this music is really making, because there's so many fees and so many things that are associated with all of this music that nobody, until they have a reckoning where they open everything up for everybody to see, we're not going to really know how much. But I can give your family $100,000 and they're going to think like, oh my God, Atlantic Records gave me $100,000. They care about me, but they just made $200 million off of this dead person's thing because they owe so much money and they got to get their money back and they need to break even and then they need to make their profit. So Theo say, so Drake beating Michael Jackson is the label saying physical copies don't matter. Unfortunately, yes. And it's so fucked up with Drake beating Michael Jackson because, like we said, our last live stream, it's not competing if it's not sheet for sheet. Michael Jackson sold music in a time where there was no way to get this music aside from going outside. Drake comes from the going outside era, but also the streaming era where it leads all back to I don't have to do anything to listen to my favorite artist aside from roll over and grab my phone, roll over and click it. People are cheating with, I'm going to put the music in this ad. I'm going to put this there. This all counts as a stream, putting it on loop. I remember Post Malone, when that Rockstar came out, they cheated their way to that #1 because they put the hook as a loop on YouTube for 3 minutes and it was counting as a song. So it's like, I personally believe that it's cheating, but the label telling you that 1,500 streams equals one album sale, they made that up. If they didn't physically sell, how can I sell you this notebook and tell you that, okay, you give me $2 a month and you have access to this notebook as much as you want to, but the minute you stop giving me $2 a month, the notebook goes away. You know, like, that's cheating. You either gonna buy the notebook or you're not gonna buy the notebook. It's not no rent. It's rent. They're renting these places, and I just feel like it's fake. But they're saying, the label is saying that physical copies don't matter. Remember that they eliminated the bundle. That's how a lot of people were cheating with their physical sale numbers, is because, correct, they cheated their physical sale numbers. Travis Scott was one of those people. A lot of people did, actually everybody did it when Billboard started counting. A person would bundle a t-shirt with the digital copy of the album, right? So when you went to Travis Scott's website, just an example, if you bought the $40 t-shirt, everybody wants the merch. People love the merch. You want this hat. You know what I'm saying? So if I was to go on my website right now and say, you pay $30 for this hat, I'm going to give you a digital copy of the album. They counted that as an album sale, a physical sale. So a lot of people were selling 30,000 shirts, but the shirt came with a digital CD. So yeah, risk taker. The shirt, what's up, USN? The shirt would come with a digital CD and it would count that as an album sale. Billboard got wind that people were cheating, because then they come back around after they sold everything for 2 weeks. They would come back around, and then release the deluxe version with what's up, Honesty. They would release the deluxe version and then sell this hat, but in one of these colors back here. They would sell it in red or tan or green, and then that counts as more. And then they would come out and then they would sell the vinyl, and then that would count as the more sales. So these people aren't selling music like that. You want the shirt because you can take this hat and you can wear this hat forever. As long as the hat is intact, you can wear it forever. You can wear any of these. You can wear this jacket. You can wear this hoodie. You can wear whatever forever. You don't give a fuck about the digital version of this. That was just something that came with it. And that's, yes, we have been, I skipped something, but we have been, that's a cheating way. It's cheating. Talking about streaming farms, yeah. Buying streams, buying all of these things to make it seem like, you know, one thing that I saw, it's sad, it was one of my favorite artists, ESCG. I saw him like, you think that these people had these outrageous numbers like that, but you can't understand why they're still in these fucked up situations, or they broke, or they can't really sell real physical albums. YoungBoy does it too. The label is probably in charge of it. You'll like, so if you don't have YouTube Premium, I don't have it, but they'll run their music video on before they they'll run the music video as an ad, and you're not paying no attention. So, oh, you can't skip this ad for 30 seconds. That counts as a stream. That counts as a view. That counts as all of that for them. And that's, in real life, that doesn't count as a view or a stream, because it's like you had to pay to put this in front of me. That should be counted as advertisement. That shouldn't be counted as somebody actually gave a fuck to look at this and click on it. So it's all type of sneaky, trifling things that they do. Another thing that they'll do is, I know that pop singers do this a lot, like Taylor Swift and all of these people, Ariana Grande, because we don't just oh yeah, absolutely paying for placements. That's how do you think Spotify makes money? You have to, these people don't make, like Spotify and anywhere that streams music, they make no money off of actual music. They have to take paper bag money and money from, because that's payola and that is illegal. But who gives a fuck when the Supreme Court is working for the label? So it's like they have to take $25,000 for a placement, $25,000, $50,000, $250,000 to put your song on the shit for number one for Rap Caviar, so people listen, because people are gonna go listen. Even just something that's just faking the numbers, so you think somebody give a fuck about any of that shit for real, when in real life it's just programming. We know what people, bro. So they would know. They already know, because they go through your phone. They know everything you like. That's why they have targeted ads. It's illegal to do that, but if you consent to it, it's not illegal no more. That's why it's important to read the terms of service. I don't have Facebook Messenger on my phone. Why? Because I read the terms of service and I didn't like the idea of a fucking company being able to just go through my shit whenever they wanted to at whatever, time that they wanted to go to it. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not giving you access to my motherfucking stuff. But it's like they drum these numbers up and they push them up to try to make it seem like you give a fuck about something. So it's like you would never click on some outrageous video unless it was just like, man, that's so crazy. What's that? But if you was just like ESTG 5500 featuring Rallo, you wouldn't give a fuck about that. If you were an artist and you could press up your own disc, there's no way you can sell a stream. That's what I'm saying. Like we're in the era of we're renting the music. They're renting our attention. And that's why they keep having to go to these extremes and having to go to these crazy lengths and keep making shit up and turning shit into all types of different fucking hooping and hollering and gymnastics, so they can actually make it seem like it means something. In real life, these people can't compete with regular people. It is payola. Everything is damn near payola when it comes to a record label. I have premium and I can't stand sitting through there. There are people with reaction channels with ads popping up every few minutes. Man, I remember when YouTube ads first got introduced, the video was 7 minutes. I'm telling you, like every 45 seconds there was an ad. And that was the first time I ever left a comment on a video. And I was like, do you have enough fucking commercials on this video? And it damn near is like, I'm about to drop something and get YouTube premium because I hate commercials. Collecting and selling our data all the while. Oh yeah, because if I can get you to consent to me being able to roam through your phone, it's not just, oh, you like to listen to Currency all day. You like to listen to Lil Baby all day. You like to listen to Georgia Smith or whatever. No, like I can go through your phone and actually go through your messages and see what you're talking about. Go through your pictures and scan and see what you've been looking at. Go through your browser history and see, and I can curate whatever you want to. It's kind of like I'm not on TikTok. I don't look at TikTok. I don't even have the app. I've been kicked off the app perpetually forever, probably. But they're going through your phone and they're data mining. That's what they call it. They're data mining. So they're going through your phone looking at your stuff, and then you get up there and they're actually making whatever you think like, damn, they really know me. Like, no, they're just minding your fucking business. But I was saying about Taylor Swift's and Ariana Grande's and those pop singers and shit, they take their music and okay, the sales is going down a little bit, or this is happening, or they want to drum it up. They'll take the songs will cost $1.29. They will take and drop the price of their song to 99 cents. When the song starts picking up more steam, they'll drop the price again to 69 cents for the single. So you think that these people it's the same across the board no matter what the genre is. You think these people are selling music like that when it's really like, oh, we got enough attention, let's keep the ball rolling and let's just keep dropping the price until we sell for $1 million. So would you really have went platinum if you kept it at $1.29? Or did you have to drop it to 69 cents just so you can be in name only with being platinum? Every genre does it. It's not just us. We just the ones that's bold enough to come out here and keep it real and say, yeah, this is what the labels do. These other people, bro, they get all the way to the motherfucking end of their career or till they get sexually assaulted or something like that to finally come out and say what the fuck happened to them at the label. Yeah, man, I think I was in high school when YouTube started running them fucking ads. And it was crazy because the ads, you couldn't skip them. You used to have to sit through the whole damn ad. So you can stream albums on DSPs and Mixtape app. What's the difference? How does the Mixtape site still have the studio audio and able to stream it? So the digital service providers and the Mixtape apps, it goes back to the person who owns the Mixtape app. The Mixtape apps came before the digital service provider. Anybody could have a website and pay however much the website costs a year or however much it takes for your space and stuff to have that. So with the Mixtape sites, you actually have to send that music to them or upload it. Nowadays with Mixtape sites, you would have to upload it yourself. But back in the day, they would have it first. So that's just an independent entity. They don't really count. You can see how many people clicked on it, but that was an independent bit opposed to digital service providers. The people who own those Mixtape sites, especially if it's an older Mixtape site like Live Mixtapes or Audio Mac or SoundCloud and stuff like that, those are owned. I don't think SoundCloud, not so much today, but those were owned by independent people. You could actually have had a Mixtape site and you owned that. So somebody pays you, some of them was open to the public, other of them was not. But they would be paying for that on their own. It's just like a private company versus the major labels own DSPs. Even though DSPs are private companies, they would you could only, at that time, there was only a certain type of way you can get your stuff up there. It's just like you paying a distributor to get your stuff on DSPs, opposed to if you wanted to be on the front page of Live Mixtapes or that PIF, you would just pay whoever was in charge of that website or that division of the website. And they have the studio. How does you say, how does the mixtape site still have the studio album and able to stream it? It's just depending on who got there first, as far as whoever owns the masters, because even though there are multiple versions of a song, you usually would have one version of your album that was going to be set out there, and an independent person can just upload it. It usually snuck by because, again, labels didn't take mixtape sites serious. They didn't think it was nothing. They didn't even know how much money them people was making. So let's see. The only permission I gave Facebook Messenger is my storage. My messages camera might touch you. I don't have to get permission to activate the app. Facts. Doja Cat Hot Pink was out for a whole year, then they resold it. Yeah, they do that a lot too. Taking and repackaging stuff for you to get it. They do that to a lot of the pop people. Katy Perry is the first person I ever remember. I mean, they like promoted that one album for like 6 years, Teenage Dream. They didn't even know new music or nothing. Like you said, Nayim is all about the attention, which doesn't translate to finances though. Facts. Steven, what do you think led to the downfall of SoundCloud? Man, this is a crazy one, because what led to the downfall of SoundCloud was the floodgate being open with so many terrible, it's fucked up, but so many terrible people that didn't know anything about what was hot, children being able to pick what they thought should be out there in the forefront. Also, 100% unfettered access to anybody being able to put anything on SoundCloud. SoundCloud was free, and it's still free depending on what kind of account you have. So one thing that SoundCloud didn't do in the beginning was you used to did not have to pay to put a certain amount of audio up there. It was basically like its name. It was your SoundCloud. So you could start your career by uploading your songs and then sharing the links, and then people being able to come across the links. And what made SoundCloud so beautiful was you can be able to put it up instantly. So many people reshare it, and it was like retweeting, but it was reposting your music, where other people would now be able to see it just because your fan reposted it for whoever was following them. The problem is, when the label got a hold of SoundCloud, everybody that had a lot of views, just because, one, it was easy to cheat the numbers, but that wasn't as heavy as when the label got a hold of them and started giving out deals to everybody who was getting any type of attention. It bubbled up before it had time to 100% develop. And that is what happened with SoundCloud, to my personal understanding. Even though SoundCloud, I feel like in the modern age, was one of the realest discovery platforms, because it was hard. It was easy to cheat, but it was hard to cheat because you knew if people was fucking with you or not, because they weren't just talking about you on SoundCloud. They was talking about you in other places. And it was also, SoundCloud was really the place for the alternative people that didn't have social skills. I'm just going to say it. It sounds fucked up, but the SoundCloud era introduced the person who decided that they didn't want to go out and talk to people and didn't want to go outside to interact with people when it came to putting their music up. Even the niggas like Puya and Rob Banks, a lot of their fans and stuff was not, you would not see a lot of those people anywhere near mixtape legends we would consider like Jeezy and all of these people. It created this insider, it was a very insider community. So when the label started taking those people that were supposed to stay in the house and start putting them outside and trying to push them out into the world, it collapsed in on itself, because now it's like, what the hell are we supposed to do? Like, what you mean go outside? It wasn't the case for everybody, but that's what a lot of the weird stuff that we see today rolled out of SoundCloud. And when you got the fake world is never going to triumph the real world. Period. Like, it's just not ever going to be something. Like, no matter what you see, no matter what is said, the real world is always going to win, because the fake world is delusional. Now, they might be loud, they might be annoying, they get on our nerves, but you know how to act when you go out. A lot of these people is weird and awkward and crazy in a way that they're being who they are, but it's like that's not acceptable and appropriate for what we are. And that's just kind of what happened. Like, they got it bubbled faster than how they could develop. You know, I put on a lot of artists and producers who are major now. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was good for a lot of people. I felt like SoundCloud was really good because it just how the mixtape was, where it gave you that access to, like, your favorite artist might throw a random song up there, or somebody you like would throw a random song up there, and you could get it, you could download it, you could even, they got to a point where you can sell it. They do distribution now and everything. It gave the power back to them, and the label had to shut it down. That's really what happened. They had to close that down. What you mean people like Russ is getting rich off of SoundCloud? Like, what do you mean? Like, we can't have that. You feel that's what's going on? You feel that's what's going on with Doja right now? Doja Cat right now is miserable, and it's sad to see, because she's miserable and she's not happy with what she does, and you can tell she doesn't want to do this. She is being told what to do, and that's another danger of signing to a label. It's like, once you sign, it don't matter how real you think you are, it don't matter how real you is. These people, you will do what you're told. And if you don't do what you're told, you're not going to be able to sustain, or you might even get yourself in a legal situation where you might even have to go as far as to go to jail. With Doja Cat, it's very interesting to see, because when she came in, OG Mako was the person who brought her into music. And that was a whole different type of wave when Mako brought her in. As it progressed, she wasn't getting no attention. And then she comes out with she was getting a little attention, but she comes out with some type of gimmicky type of thing, and it blows up because they made people stupid by putting stupid music out there. So she came in in a period where people were already being demoralized and music was already being dumbed down. But she's still talented. That doesn't take away from her talent. That doesn't take away what she could actually do. But 100% evident that she's just doing what she's told. She don't have no control. She's in the passenger seat. She might even be in the back seat and somebody else is driving that car. So she's trying to make herself so detestable that she ruins her career. The problem is you're already at the point that we know how talented you are, and we know how amazing you are, that people, once you get to that point, that you're past the point where people can just kind of overlook what you do. So you're kind of looking like, damn, she having a mental breakdown. What's going on? But it's really like she's miserable. She's trying to get the fuck out the deal. We're going to be talking about how Frank Ocean got out of his shit, but it's kind of the same thing that happened with Chief Keef. Chief Keef was so fucking defiant because he was so unhappy with his situation, that he just completely defied everything that was going on, to the point where they didn't have no choice but to let him go. The problem is Doja Cat is 100 times more talented than Chief Keef and has more appeal and can make more. This is why you see her, bro. She would never on no regular shit ever be fucking white supremacist on the t-shirt doing all type of crazy ass shit. She would never be doing that if she was happy with her situation. And you'll see a lot of people self-sabotage in these situations that they don't have no control over, because they're trying to get out of it any way that they can. So less of a gimmick, more of self-sabotage with her. And a lot of other people. Erykah Badu did some bomb remixes to some tracks. It was a good time, facts. So How to Audacious Doja was my shit, but she lost me with her actions. Again, she's trying to she's trying to make herself so deplorable that everybody who believed in her, everybody who liked what she was doing, they they clear the room and they're like, I got to go. I can't fuck with this, because she wants out the situation because she can't get out of it. And that's just, one of the dark sides of songwriting, for real. Like, no pun intended or pun intended, whatever, but hey, she signed it, so she got to deal with it. But hold on, we got one more. Period. So I was my introduction to her. I follow her on SoundCloud. I would have never thought she would have been a crossover success she is now. That's what I'm saying. Like, people get into these situations and you can get molded into something. Like, one thing they can do, if they want to make you something, they will, and getting the right people. Especially when you talk about how many people are on the ground that are instrumental. Like, who would have thought that Mako would be the person to bring us OG Parker? Mako is the person who's like OG Parker. That's the tag. Like, all that kind of stuff. Young Boy versus Drake. And like, it's Drake. I feel like, I'm gonna be real. Like, anytime an old man is involving themselves with somebody that's significantly younger than them, I feel like it's a problem. Like Drake is 36 years old. Young Boy, I believe he's still less than 25. So it's like, I feel like, why are you involving yourself with somebody that's you supposed to be past arguing with, even though Young Boy's not a child? Like, why would a grown man involve himself with a younger man? You supposed to be, if you claim to be this big dog or be all this shit, why would you involve yourself with that young ass man? However, you can tell that somebody like Drake has identity problems and he wants to be seen as somebody that he's not. And that was the whole thing with the Meek Mill shit, is Meek Mill exposed the chink in his armor where he was trying to transition, and Meek Mill howled the motherfucking pills, got out here and was running his mouth and was like, hey, this nigga's not who he is. And he's been struggling with his identity since. I really don't have too much of an opinion versus that, because I just think old niggas don't have no business bothering young men unless it's to mentor and guide and help. They're not in the same boat. They're not in the same class. I don't even know what kind of problem they would have. I think the problem is with them was Young Boy wanted a Drake feature, but Drake picked Dirk, I think that's the problem with them. And the problem with that is, this is a relationship-based business. So if Drake decided, which it doesn't make sense, because why would you pick Dirk? I know why you would pick Dirk, because he gets more attention and Drake wants to be seen as real as possible, even though you're a fraud. But he wants to be seen as real as possible. So he wants to align himself with whoever the world perceives as real or whatever, real, right? So him saying I'm picking Dirk doesn't make no sense, because how do you be on Birdman's team, but you don't pick Young Boy when Young Boy is over here? You should stay neutral, because you're not from the life that those type of people are from. So you don't even have a choice. I mean, a thing you shouldn't be picking sides when you a nigga like that. But the problem is, niggas like that in the music industry pick sides because Dirk is favored in the music industry, because most of these niggas are hoes. So with most of these niggas being hoes and Dirk actually being from somewhere where the ground is respected, it makes all these hoe ass niggas feel like Dirk is real, because Dirk is commercially successful and Dirk does have more. Even though Young Boy sells more records and has a better, more consistent fan base, Dirk has the visibility. That's a better word for it. Dirk is more visible and has more visibility appeal because he's Dirk, and Young Boy does not have that, because Young Boy is not visibly, he's not going to be visibly accepted because of the kind of music that he makes. He's commercially accepted, but Young Boy can't go to the places where Dirk go and do the shit that he do because they're basically in the same boat. So bitch ass niggas is always gonna pick other, even if Dirk is a bitch ass nigga, he's gonna go over to where everybody is. Like Drake gonna do whatever the public want him to do. Young boy is, whether we think he real or he fake, he's gonna do whatever the fuck he want to do because he's not in a situation where he has to be little bro to anybody. Dirk has to be little bro. Dirk came in through the drill wave, but he is a click hopping nigga. He's been up under French Montana. He's been up under Alamo. He's been up under all of these people. So it's like the industry's gonna favor him because he will do anything the industry want him to do. So it's just bitch ass niggas clicking up with other bitch ass niggas. All that way of surfing and jumping worked for Drake for a while. He built his brand on it. Now he's in limbo and lost, and it's obvious he had no truth. And that's the problem with, and that's one of the things that him and a lot of those people over there at Cash Money that came up with. Again, we talking about mixtapes tonight, but Wayne came up by hopping on any beat, and it helped because Wayne was a great rapper, but Wayne was also able to deliver on his own stuff and get on other people's stuff without stealing other people's identities. When you have that shit with Meek Mill was so significant because Drake, if you're reading this is too late, was supposed to be him transitioning to making where he's from seem a little bit more serious. Because like, let's be fucking for real, bro. I think everywhere on earth is taken more serious than Canada. And because Canada is seen as the United States little brother. Niggas, Drake had to come down to Texas to get hot. Nobody from Texas had to go to Canada to do a goddamn thing. Not even to do a show. So it's like, when Meek Mill comes out and say, hey, this nigga fake, that completely bruised him and ruined his chance of actually being seen as somebody more serious. And that's the problem with niggas who come out as one thing, but they want to be seen as something else. It's like Yella Beezy. Yella Beezy comes out and wants to be seen as a gangster, but you really a cute nigga. Like, why you want to be affiliated with being a gangster? That's why it's just like, gangster niggas can be looked at as like, oh, you could be a good looking nigga, but like them niggas that look like pretty boys, that look like, oh, that nigga sweet, I can smack the shit out of him or something like that, bro. Nobody's gonna look at you like that, especially if you come out with music that's for women or primarily women can be hooked into like that. You're not gonna be seen like that. So when Mo3 comes out and Mo3 is like, Mo3's handsome, but he don't look like Yella Beezy. Yella Beezy looks approachable. Like Yella Beezy looks like somebody that bitches would like, oh my God, it's Yella Beezy. Mo3 didn't look like that. Mo3 looked like a gangster nigga. You want to be seen as something that you're not. And that's what happened with Drake. And as far as his identity goes, you want to be seen as fucking I'm serious, I'm this, I'm that. But the problem is you're doing all this shit to try to convince people that you're serious and that we should take you serious, but like, it's not gonna work because that's not how we were introduced. You didn't gradually grow up, and this is why you see nigga running around with barrettes in their motherfucking hair, painting their nails like hoes, doing all of these things, trying to appeal to anybody who will take them serious instead of just being fucking serious and evolving. That's his fucking problem. Right. What we got? Yeah, that Meek and ghostwriting situation, the chink in his armor. Yep, it ruined him. It really ruined him. And he's never going to, it really wiped him out of the conversation of who could be the greatest. Because it's one thing if you have people arranging, it's one thing if you have a person that's like Mike Will, that moved that dope song by Future, that was not the original version of that song. It was a whole different beat. The verse was structured a whole different way. Mike Will took and picked that apart and turned it into something else for him. That's not the same. Like, that is a style of writing, but it's not, I sat down and did this for this nigga. And if Drake would have never came out and made it like talking all this shit, like I'm the greatest to ever do it, I'm this, I'm that, like we wouldn't even be in this fucking situation because in order to qualify as the greatest, your primary, like, you can't have people give you the whole song. I'm sorry. Like, you can't have people, you can have people, make suggestions. And even, that's why it's just like, when you in the studio in this industry, especially as a songwriter, you don't be really wanting a bunch of people around, because anybody that make a suggestion is entitled to some type of compensation. So the fact that you couldn't even keep a wrangle on, at the time, the #1 ghostwriter in the business, and you think you was gonna fuck this man over, you don't even have the street smarts to know that if a nigga has a drug problem, you shouldn't even be getting involved with his ass on no business type deal. You're gonna give me a verse that somebody else wrote, and you're in a transitional period, because he was trying to come out on some hard rapping shit. And this is why this nigga right now, I cut his shit off when it come on, talking about spinning the block, talking about I'll put a bag on a nigga head. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? What bag? Are you on the grocery bag? Like, what is this nigga talking about? Like, why do you wait until you almost 40? But he has empowered these bitch ass niggas to think. That's why so many bitch ass niggas get out here and start talking out of their body and talking crazy and doing all type of shit, is because this nerd ass nigga decided that he was gonna make it cool for bitch ass niggas with money to start talking like the niggas that they always admired. I can't get down with the identity crisis, because if you a 40-year-old man, you should know what the fuck you own. But that's what happens when you stay in regression, and it's all about, they put the money before they put their heart, they put the money before their mind, and now you're stuck in the money loop. And you're stuck in the money loop where you care more about being rich and making money and fake accolades than you do actually preserving your identity and preserving, where it's just like, you know what? Somebody else did write that for him. Because make no mistake about it, I'm not against motherfuckers writing. Motherfuckers can't write for me. I don't want them to. But I'm not against other people writing other people's songs. But what I am against is you fucking coming out and acting like you did something by yourself when you know you didn't. I'm against you trying to, because these motherfuckers be talking to themselves. They'll tell us, oh, I'll spin the block, and your ex nigga don't want to play with me. Your nigga don't want no smoke with me. I want you, bitch, and can't nobody tell me not to want you. All that incel stuff, that's, I don't think none of that shit is cool, but it's like, you are talking to us, trying to convince us of what you are trying to convince yourself of. So these niggas believe if they tell us this bullshit enough times, if they repeat the lie enough to us, that it will become true. Bro, nobody in their right mind will ever say Drake is going to pull up and shoot me. I am fearful of my life when this nigga come around. Bro, like, dog, like, this is the type of nigga, if you like probably pull his pants down, he would have panties on. So it's like, you're trying to convince me that I hang out with killers. I'm a killer. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Like, how many of us went to school with somebody who killed somebody, bro? That don't mean that that's who the fuck we are. That's just, that's just a condition of where the fuck we was at in the environment. This nigga's crazy. And, not having no identity is a very serious thing. Because, like, grow the fuck up. And that's another problem in this music shit, is that's like having motherfuckers around you who are not going to be honest with you about your music and be honest with you about where you at in your career, bro. You almost 40. You supposed to be a grown-ass man. You're supposed to be like, they're supposed to be young R&B rap niggas that sing to bitches that you're supposed to be mentoring so you can keep the genre alive. You're not supposed to be out here on some fucking, like, why do you want to be a goon at 40? You about to qualify for AARP. That doesn't even make fucking sense. Especially the lane you came in, and then you have people like Jay Prince and Birdman that continue to run to these niggas' rescues every time something happens, bro. That makes you more of a bitch when people have to continue to fight your own battles. Why can't you fight your own battles? I hate that why I oughta attitude out of niggas like this, because it's a fucking danger to society, because this is the biggest pop star on the planet as far as males go. So we already know that 80% of young men are not having their way. 80% of young men are incels. 80% of young men is drafting them out here. And the other 20% is having their way. Just because a nigga's rich, just because a nigga got money, just because a nigga is fucking having his way or like that, that does not erase lame. Money does not take lame away. Money does not take loser away. All it is like a bitch who did not take a bath but changed their outfit. You just a stinking bitch in a new outfit. So it's like you're appealing to losers, but then you are a kept bitch. This nigga's like Princess Peach. Nigga, you're up in the fucking castle safe. All these other fucking loser niggas have to run through the field and jump over the fucking star, eat the mushroom, and do all this other shit and swim and hope the piranha don't get them. And the goddamn Venus flytrap spitting fireballs at them, trying to get to a place where you talk about in your songs while you the cat bitch in the castle that don't have to deal with none of the bullshit these Mario ass niggas is trying to save you, and or you know whatever that they're doing. Nobody know. And that's gonna get them hurt because they think they're taking what you saying literal because they can relate to being a bitch ass nigga. Like I said, it's 80% of niggas that relate to being bitch ass niggas. It's not the 20% that know how to have social skills, that know how to go out here and know how to do shit and, you know, can just navigate and go through their life however they go through their life. And it makes it dangerous because these is the type of niggas that a nigga really have a whole grudge on you because you went to the prom with a bitch that he never talked to. He went to prom with this. Oh, you was in high school 20 years ago, and this nigga is 40 years old, mad at you because you went to the prom with his crush. Like, where the fuck are we at? Grow the fuck up. Like, it's just all a matter of just growing the fuck up. Just grow the fuck up. I think I saw something earlier about, I think I skipped it. Oh, here we go. But the race wanted Joe Budden, he exposed insecurity anytime you respond to someone who critiques your work by bringing up money you lost. That man on the fucking money. That's how you know, like, that shit hit him in his chest. And it made him realize, like, bro, like, it's not hating when somebody says, you know, we grew up with you. We've known you since we was in our early teens. I was introduced to this nigga when he was a teenager. It would be nice to hear something that evolves because why is your audience still children? How the fuck is your audience still like, yes, you appeal to everyone, but bro, if it suck, it fucking suck. And it's not good just because it come out your fucking mouth. I expect anybody that's over here, if I'm tripping, open your fucking mouth and say something. Don't let me be out here looking crazy, sounding crazy, bro. I'm not above criticism, none of that, especially if it's coming from a qualified party. I'm not above none of that. Niggas can say, and maybe I might not like it, or maybe if I don't, I'm above being like, well, I don't like that. Like, because it's like, if somebody is saying something that can help me, nigga, tell me. I don't want to be out here losing and flopping and looking crazy. Like, this a grown-ass man with barrettes in his hair. I should have got a fucking picture. But like, what are you doing? You're really you're taking your cues from 23-year-olds. You're 40 years old. Like, you look crazy. And that's the kind of shit that make me feel like these niggas will fuck children. Cause it's like, if you're taking your cues from an 18-year-old and you singing to 18-year-olds as a 40-year-old, why wouldn't you fuck a kid? Like, I'm gonna put my hands up because it's a lot with these old ass men. It's so crazy, and it's just like you don't even want to give young men a chance to breathe and be successful because you all in their motherfucking area, all beating down and trying to chase the bitches that's supposed to be for them. Like, is either Birdman or Jay Prince coming to his defense? That's what I'm saying. It's like, why, as a grown man, can you not defend yourself? And my thing is, do niggas understand how not y'all over here, obviously, but like, do these motherfuckers understand how psychologically weak that makes you look as a grown man? The first thing you should be able to do is defend yourself. So like, if every time something happens, the better thing to do would to just not respond. But because every time something goes down, niggas try to spin this shit, bro. Niggas tried to spin this shit as like, oh, he just so big that he can't respond to that. Oh, he's so big, bro. Them niggas is protecting their investment. You notice how the motherfuckers that always come out defend this nigga is the motherfuckers that got their hand in his pocket, bro. This nigga friends don't never come out defend this nigga. They sit quietly on the sideline because they think exactly how we think. You're a grown-ass man, and always another grown-ass man is coming to defend you. Why you can't speak up for yourself? And then when you come out and say something, you sound like a fucking bitch on a blog. Like a bitch on, like, what he said sounded like some shit from the Shade Room. Like, why you can't never just defend yourself? It's fucking ridiculous. That's what I said, bro. Steven said he's 24 years old and looking at this nigga crazy. Because it's just like, wait, like, we're looking at you as an older man to be, you know, somebody that we can look to for just inspiration. Even if it's something as basic as inspiration, bro. Ain't no young nigga inspired by no old nigga cosplaying as them. No, you're supposed to know something by that age. And that gives everybody a bad look because what this nigga do, it'll make the society feel like, oh, no, them niggas, they don't know how to grow up. They all children. So this bitch ass nigga do bitch ass shit. 80% of bitch ass niggas do bitch ass shit. You going about your business as the 20%, and you getting treated like one of them 80% niggas because they think everybody fucking childish. And like what Phil saying, that was his problem with XXXTentacion and that was his problem. I don't think he had that issue with YoungBoy recently. As far, it wasn't as big as XXXTentacion. So the thing Phil is talking about is like XXXTentacion was putting that motherfucking pressure down on Drake ass so heavy for stealing his song. And XXXTentacion was not letting fucking up. He was not letting up on that nigga. And it didn't matter what nobody fucking said because XXX was not controlled by nobody. This nigga was a loose cannon. And yeah, on the outside, you could be like, oh, two nerd ass niggas fighting. It's like, yeah, two nerd ass niggas fighting, but this nigga's giving this nigga a run for his motherfucking money. Like, then nigga, you gonna steal my song? I'm gonna be on your motherfucking neck, and ain't nobody gonna stop me, and ain't nobody gonna say shit to me, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me because I'm willing to fight about it. Drake could not handle that. He was not prepared. He thought that he was gonna steal how he stole from the nigga out here, Drum. He stole Hotline Bling. Hotline Bling was the original. It wasn't the original. It was the song before that he stole. But he stole the song from Drum, and stole the nigga whole style, stole everything, and nothing was done about that shit. XXX was like, nigga, you gonna hit me up, talk about working together, and then you gonna come out with my motherfucking song, Cha Cha. That's what it was. He stole Cha Cha. Salute ACLG, Chop in the building. He stole Cha Cha from Drum, and then he's like, wait a goddamn minute, bro. You just gonna steal my shit? Drum didn't even get to the point where he was supposed to get to because this bitch ass nigga came through, Drake. The bitch ass nigga come through and steal the song, and then XXX comes out, so nothing happened with the Drum shit. Drum decided, nigga, fuck music, these niggas that came in here and stole all my motherfucking shit. He still do music. He changed his name back to his government name and shit like that. But then he might be back out as Drum. But like that kind of roll over. This nigga got a whole history of just stealing from niggas. But when XXX came out, this nigga X was like, I'm not going for no motherfucking stealing. I'm not going for no motherfucking stealing, nigga. You gonna steal the biggest song of my career? I'm on your motherfucking top. And couldn't nobody do nothing and nobody control him. And that's why people came out and was like, oh, this nigga put the money on the head to get the nigga killed because he couldn't control him. And it was gonna be a real problem if them niggas actually decided to like do any type of bumping. Yeah, like that's one thing. Like, say whatever you want to about the nigga history or how he did things or the type of music he made or whatever, bro. I can always respect anybody who decide they're gonna stand up and take a stand for some shit that they really got on their heart. It is not okay to steal from niggas. And this nigga is so big because he got people that people fear them, but they fear them in a respect kind of way. Like, they fear these people, and it's just like, I don't want no smoke with this nigga, so I'm just gonna roll over and let this nigga steal. And that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. This nigga's a little ass boy. So when you got a grown man, no matter how old the grown man is, when you got the grown man deciding he want to come through and put down some discipline on top of your head, you don't know how to respond because you've been so motherfucking busy being out here and stealing, being out here and doing whatever you want to. It's a shocker when somebody push back on you. It boils down to the identity crisis, and it's never going to, it's not going to stop unless people start taking some fucking responsibility. I seen somebody, yeah, here you go, right here. They're condoning the behavior because, again, 80%. This nigga's a cash cow. They have decided that money was number one, aside from righteousness, aside from, nobody's telling a nigga to go out into a street and be a freedom fighter, but they've decided that money was going to be above all else. So we're going to get this money and protect this money by any means. I don't give a fuck if it make me look crazy. I don't give a fuck if it make me look like a bitch ass nigga. The number one priority is getting this money. What's crazy now that Drake trying to claim SSS to toss young. It's ridiculous. Like, the nigga's dead as fuck. It don't matter what happened, nigga. You live. So it's just ridiculous. What you think about Birdman threatening Drewski on live? I'm sick of him acting like a mafia boss who threatens somebody on live stream. He already YSL affiliate. That was fake. It was a skit that they did because I know it was a skit because Drewski brought up Miss Gladys. So we know how Birdman, like, I love Birdman, by the way. I really respect him and what he's done for what we've done. But Birdman, we know how he felt about his mama. So that was just something that they was doing. It was just a skit or something. Birdman showing a little bit more personality and having fun. But man, we've been on this bitch for 2 hours. Thank y'all for coming through, man. I wanted to get at history about that mixtape shit and why they had to destroy it. And I hopefully if y'all didn't know, it clarified and it made I made some sense of all of this, so we know that we got to keep track of these things. That's just what they do. Like I said, they're protecting their interests. It's kind of like the United States, when they talk about they're protecting their interests, they're interested in what their version of God is guns, oil, and dope. That's what they're talking about. I'm protecting my interests. I need guns, oil, dope. I need my money. I'm protecting the things that I'm investing in. So that's all Birdman is doing. I don't think Birdman would, but he's from that era where people kill people. But he's just talking shit. Like, it's easy to, and that's the problem with the shit talking nowadays. It's easy for people to dogpile on people that they perceive to be weaker than them or less successful than them. That's one of the problems that I have with this music shit. It's like I forgot who said it. See if I can scroll up and see it. Like, motherfuckers bring that money up when they losing. Motherfuckers bring that up when it's just like, oh, I got more money than you. I did XYZ. I did such and such and so and so, you know. So it's Joe Budden's an easy target because they're like, oh, we're still rapping. You ain't rapping, bitch ass nigga podcasting. But it's just like, okay, like, I said what I said and I'm not gonna back down from it. Fuck it. I don't know if he backed down or not. I didn't go and look and see, but yeah, man, it's been 2 hours and thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all. I got a real long, boring video for tomorrow with some terms in it, basically words and definitions for those who need to know what to look out for in their licensing contracts when they are making music. So that's for people who are actually considering getting paid from their music, not just no I make music for fun type shit. So I will holler at y'all. Thank y'all. Good night. God bless. Get some rest. Make sure you carry. Appreciate you two friends. Appreciate all of y'all, man. Hold on. Phil said Joe's over 40. You want him to still be rapping? Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't have no problem with that. The Eagles and the Rolling Stones and everybody else is out here rapping and doing their thing still. Why the fuck not? Like, I want our music to, because our music is our culture, and I want it to evolve past an age limit on it. But that's when you get people actually maturing and going up and growing and talking about other things and just being in the box. Oh shit, Azalea Banks done went on one of her rants against Birdman and Drake. I saw that. Oh, you were saying from Drake's perspective? Yeah, I mean, you know, it's still a valuable perspective because it's his perspective, you know? Like, his experience might be different. You can still make it fly, and if all else fails, I mean, we know his get down nigga hire some writers. So make sure y'all do what y'all supposed to do. We'll be back here live next Monday, 9 o'clock. I'll try to be up on time. I will holler at y'all.
In a world of glitz and glam, flashing lights and screaming fans, most people are unaware of the war that rages behind the scenes. And that war includes your favorite artist and your favorite songs. This is the dark side of songwriting.